Greetings, sports fans. Thanks for watching The Fumble. I'm your host, Jackie Ray. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all the latest in sports news. Don't believe the first round hype. Well, sometimes you can. Sometimes you do get a Shaquille O'Neal or a LeBron James or Anthony Davis or even Kyrie. Now, you know I've said it time and time again that I am ready for Zion Williamson to enter the draft and hit the league, but I have to try to check myself because it was just 2 years ago that we were calling another college athlete the most highly anticipated rookie of all time. I have never been as excited about a draft pick as I have been about LeBron James, but a close second for me is Zion Williamson, and his legacy is already starting somewhat similar to the King. He should be getting the highest shoe deal of all time, and he's going to have all eyes on him from the moment he hits the court. But there is an asterisk. Not a bad one, but hopefully also not a sign of things to come. Before he sets foot on the court, Zion Williamson is already in the middle of a legal battle. His attorneys told ESPN reporters that they are trying to enforce his termination of the agreement he signed with a Florida marketing company. They say the deal was unlawful under North Carolina law. Kind of odd his attorneys didn't know that before they signed, but whatever. The marketing deal was signed with Gina Ford and Prime Sports on April 20th, just 5 days after Zion declared for the draft. That agreement included a clause that it could not be terminated for 5 entire years. Williamson's family told Ford and Prime Sports on May 31st that they were ending the agreement. The agency responded by saying, "That's fine, we will just sue you for $100 million in damages." That didn't stop Zion from signing with CAA for his marketing and representation needs. Zion's suit claims the agreement was unlawful under North Carolina's Uniform Athletic Agents Act because Prime Sports is not certified by the National Basketball Players Association or registered athletic agent in North Carolina or Florida. Additionally, the agreement failed to contain, as required under UAAA, a notice in boldface type in capital letters informing the athlete that by signing the agreement, he was losing his eligibility to compete as a student athlete. The suit asked the court to declare the agreement void and bar Prime Sports from acting on Williamson's behalf. Let's hope this matter is cleared up quickly because I am really gonna need him to focus on being the best athlete he can possibly be his rookie season. Otherwise, we might have to put him on this list next year. I highly doubt Zion will be a bust, but let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Let's look back at some of the all-time worst first-round draft picks. At number 10, we have 6'11" Kwame Brown. Now, Brown was consistently rated the best high school player in his class. Keep in mind, Tyson Chandler was also in his class. Brown was his high school all-time leading rebounder, shot blocker, and finished second as his high school all-time leading scorer. He was named 2001 McDonald's All-American Team. He averaged 20 points, 13 rebounds, 5.8 blocks, 3 assists, and 2 steals. I love it. But Brown is one of those players that probably could have benefited from another year or maybe 2 in college. There were 45 high school to pro draft picks before the collective bargaining agreement that required draft picks to be at least 19 years of age or at least 1 year out of high school before entering the draft. You still don't have to go to college, but it definitely helps your draft potential. And with Kwame Brown, it might have helped him be more prepared for the league. Instead, he skipped out on his letter of intent to the University of Florida and declared for the 2001 draft. Team president Michael Jordan used his first overall pick on Brown and drafted him to the Wizards. In his rookie year, Brown averaged 4.5 points, 3.5 rebounds per game. But the Wizards chalked it up to, rookie jitters, and they believed in his talent by starting him in 20 of the 80 games he played and doubling his minutes on the floor. Technically, he did improve, but his slight bump was just to averaging 7.4 points, 5.3 rebounds per game, and that could be attributed more towards his increase in time on the court. His third season, he had another jump to almost 11 points per game, 7.4 rebounds. Even with the so-so numbers, Kwame Brown rejected a 5-year, $30 million contract with the Wizards and went into free agency. Not smart. He was limited to just 42 games due to the injuries and began to argue with teammates. In August of 2005, he was traded to the Lakers, and Laker fans were not happy, calling him an underachiever. His first game as a Laker was played in Washington against his old team. Perfect time to shine, right? Instead, he missed passes from his teammates. One pass actually bounced off his head and landed out of bounds. But finally, Brown started to show potential after an injury sent him back to the starting position. He showed so much consistency that Phil Jackson decided to make him the starting center in the 2006-2007 season. Kobe Bryant ended up having to stand up against fans who booed Brown in a game where he had 7 turnovers and only had 6 rebounds and missed an open dunk. The loss of that game diminished the Lakers' chances of going to the playoffs. Brown would end up being a journeyman playing for the Grizzlies, Pistons, Bobcats, Warriors, and the 76ers. But in 2017, he was the 5th overall pick in the inaugural draft of the Big Three League. His team, Three-Headed Monsters, made it to the finals, but lost 51-64. The next guy is so bad he doesn't even have enough stats to fill up an entire paragraph. But he did make history. We have Anthony Bennett. Born in Toronto, Bennett became the first Canadian to be number 1 in the draft in 2013. He attended college at the University of Las Vegas. In his 35 games with the Running Rebels, he averaged 12.1 points, 8.1 rebounds. And that, friends, is where his story ends. He spent 4 years in the league, played for a different team each year of the 4 years, and in the 151 games he played while in the league, he averaged just over 4 points, as in 1, 2, 3, 4. He did sign with the Turkish Basketball Super League in January of 2017, but he was released in May of the same year after playing 10 games and averaging a whopping 1.2 points per game. He is currently playing for the Agua Caliente Clippers in the G League, so I guess that's something. Now let's get to some buyer's remorse. Sam Bowie is the number 1 pick for the Trailblazers in 1984. Sam Bowie is the guy who was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan. He will always be known as the guy who was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan. But that's not all he'll be known for. He was 10 seasons with the NBA. He filled with leg injuries, and he says he lied to the Portland Trailblazers before the draft. He opened up in a documentary, Going Big, which airs on ESPNU. I can still remember them taking a little mallet, and when they would hit me on my left tibia, I don't feel anything, I would tell him. But deep down inside, it was hurting. If what I did was lying and what I did was wrong, at the end of the day, when you have loved ones that have some needs, I did what any of us would have done. So I guess all of us would lie now, but nonetheless. If you Google worst NBA draft picks of all time, there are a lot of different names that come up on a lot of different lists for a lot of reasons. But there was one face that kept popping up on every list. This one. Now, maybe I just like the old school fashion, but with that bow tie and that perfectly shaped fro, this brother has way too much swag to end up on anybody's worst of anything list. So where did LaRue Martin go wrong? The 6'11 center out of La Jolla, Chicago, in his rookie year, he averaged 4.4 points, 4.6 rebounds in 77 games with limited minutes. The 6'11 center out of La Jolla, Chicago, in his rookie year averaged 4.4 points, 4.6 rebounds in 77 games with limited minutes. He could only muster a season-high scoring average of 7 points during his 4-year career, and retired when the Trailblazers traded him in 1976. His career might have flopped, but he still gets the J. Ray Gold Star for his work in the community. Besides his corporate career, Martin's board membership and civic affiliations have included the City Club of Chicago, YMCA Mentoring Program, the African American Advisory Council of the Cook County State Attorney's Office, the Urban League of Northwest Indiana, MLK Boys and Girl Club of Chicago. Martin was featured in a segment on HBO's Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel in 2011. Reflecting on his NBA career, Martin said, "I don't believe in saying anything negative. You have no control over that. I took care of my family, did what I had to do, and I'm the type of person I can't dwell on the negatives. I just can't. I kept my head held high and moved on to positives in my life, and they treated me very well." All right, let's take a slight detour, because as a former Cavs fan who still has love for the team, y'all know I go where LeBron goes. Don't even start with me. I do have to wonder why the Cavs have more names on the worst draft list than they should. So let's take a quick glance at why LeBron really was the best thing ever to happen in the land. Dejan Wagner, number 6 in 2002 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wagner, who once scored 100 points in a high school game, averaged 9.4 points a game in 4 seasons, and was out of the league after struggling with health issues. Trajan Langdon, number 11, 1999. Cleveland Cavaliers, again, the first Alaskan player to play in the NBA. Langdon set a Duke program record for the most career three-pointers. His accuracy did not carry over to the NBA. He played just 3 seasons in the NBA, averaging 5.4 points a game during his entire career. Luke Jackson, number 10 in 2004, also to Cleveland. No idea how this even happened. Jackson was not impressive at the University of Oregon, and the Cavs drafted LeBron James the previous year. Jackson played the same position as LeBron, so he was never a good fit in Cleveland, appearing in just 46 games in 2 seasons before he was traded to Boston and waived by the Celtics before the season began. Anthony Bennett, number 1, 2013. Again, Cleveland Cavaliers. He averaged 4.2 points, 3 rebounds a game, and 52 games during his rookie season. It only took 4 years before Bennett's NBA option ran out. He played in just 151 games, averaging 4.4 points and 3 rebounds a game. That's it. That's enough of that. That is getting depressing. The NBA draft is set for Thursday, June 20th, and we all know Zion is going first, and I highly doubt we will ever see him on the worst of anything list. In fact, I would bet Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish all set some sort of rookie record. But to be fair, I would bet everyone on this list thought they were going to do the same thing. Fumble fam, who is on your worst draft pick list? And how do you think this year's first rounders are going to fare in the league? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, I'm Jackie Ray. Thanks for watching The Fumble, and we'll see you next time.